I've got a confession to make.
I need to get this off my chest. As a business owner, we all make mistakes.
I've got to confess.
And we are doing it all again. Confessions of a Business Owner. Today, I have a very, very special episode with you. We've got another special guest episode, and I'm very, very lucky to be joined by the one and only Hanalei Swan. Now, I've just got to read out this bio a little bit here because I feel it needs to be read properly because it is super, super impressive. We've got Hanalei Swan, fashion designer, artist, international speaker, author, and model at the age of 10. Just an amazing human. I was so lucky to get to come and hang out with Hanalei earlier in the year. How are you doing over there, Hanalei?
Hi, thank you for having me. This is such an honor.
No, it is such an honor for you to be here with me. I'm so thrilled you said yes to joining me because it is absolutely my pleasure. So thank you so much. Now, I want to lead this one off straight into asking you, because this is Confessions of a Business Owner. We would love to know more about your business. So tell us about your business, HS Styles.
So my business is a fashion company. It is basically it's a fashion company for women and children and men who like to wear robes. It's a very socially conscious, natural, earth conscious and life conscious material. It's all used in our dresses, and yeah.
It's a fantastic thing. And I'll just highlight a few other points here is the reference to men who wear robes was actually me, because I actually bought a Hanalei robe earlier in the year when I got to see it, because I was just so blown away by this awesome little human. And when you say socially conscious, I did a little bit of research and noticed that when I think it's every 5 items that are sold, you actually donate back to charities and give back to communities to give funds. So tell us a little bit about the social aspect there.
So we, for our, wait, let me think of this again. So every time, like you said, we sell 5, items of clothing, we are going to be giving back, I think it's the Unstoppable Foundation, for children, I think, in need. I have my mom back here and she's helping me out with all the points.
Big shout out to Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda, we love you. Yeah. Former guest on the show.
And for our boots that we're going to start selling soon, every boot that we sell, we're going to give a percentage of that to the Bawa Foundation for Bali dogs that help Bali dogs on the island find new homes.
Awesome. I think that's so good. And I think there's a wide variety of just awesome stuff you make that we got to see a little bit of as well. So we've got robes. I definitely saw a fantastic pair of boots as well. What are some of the other things your lovely business makes?
Well, we're coming out. We have a kids line for girls. I'm actually wearing one of the outfits right now. We have a women's runway line that we're finishing up the prototypes. And we have some men's shirts in the making. I made them because my dad never had any style when he was going to anywhere, just in general. And we have the boot line.
Fantastic. And I will say this, Brian Swan was dressed incredibly well at the Unstoppable Mastermind earlier in the year, and I have a funny feeling you had a lot to do with that.
Yes, I was the one who styled him.
Excellent. So let's talk about this on another level. Like, you've got all these fantastic facets of life that are around you, and I'm just blown away at your age and doing all these things. What does the typical day of Hanalei Swan look like?
Well, the typical day is me waking up around 9, super late usually. And then I get ready. I go to the studio and I meet with one of my mentors, Karen, and we meet, I think, every Tuesday or Thursday. And we mainly work with the dudes. The dudes are the people who actually make the clothing, and so we nickname them dudes. So
I
we're
love that
like,
nickname.
hey, let's go over to the dudes now. I gotta pay salary. And so, like, I think every week we pay salary for them. And then after we meet with the dudes and talk with them, and I meet with Karen, I go over to my other mentor, Emma, who helps me out with my social media, and she's a life coach, so she helps me a lot, and she's an amazing person. Then after I meet with Emma, we go over to Nollywood, amazing morning breakfast place where I always go to, and then I come back home and I usually do art for an hour. Don't talk to anyone, not near anyone, just stay in my own little office. Actually, before I met with you, I was actually in my office doing art.
That's just fantastic. And I think you highlighted a couple of things which are so amazing. At 10, Hanalei's got 2 mentors and people working for her, which she references are the dudes. I just look back on myself at that age, and at 10, I wouldn't have even known what a mentor was. And I think it's so amazing that you developed that at such a young age, and looking at, working with other people and taking on the experience of other people. So what made you pick the fashion industry specifically for your business? Was that something you were naturally drawn to?
It's kind of, it's very natural for me. My parents know nothing about fashion, not artists, not anything. But so it's kind of weird because I was the one who would always just draw and doodle. And so I was like the creative in the family for like drawing and stuff. And I started drawing like around 6. I started drawing these like items of clothing. I would always draw characters, and they would have these like very long and flowing dresses and everything, and they would always have like these weird outfits and everything. And at that age, I usually would go when I went shopping with my mom to get clothing for her. I would go in the dressing room with her. She would try something on, and I would be like, "No, that kind of makes your hips look a little out." And then I would be like, "No, that kind of makes your shoulders look a little tight. That makes them look a little bigger and all of that." And so I would be her stylist. And so every time we went shopping, I would go with her. And yeah.
That's just amazing. It sounds like you had a passion and a love for it at the same time.
Yeah.
And then one of the things I think many people would love in this world is to have some parents that are incredibly supportive of someone chasing these type of dreams, which is just so awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. We are moving to the most important section of the podcast now. This is the piece de la resistance of questions that we ask all our guests when we come on here. And I'm very curious into your answer. In your time in business, it's time to confess your biggest mistake you have made. Now, I know this is a tough one, but you have to share with the listeners. You have to give them a taste.
So the biggest mistake I've made in business is actually a really funny story. That was a time when I did not understand like profit and like what I would use for other like things and stuff. I didn't really understand that when I was at the Unstoppable Mastermind. My mom and dad hosted the event. I sold some of my clothing there, and what happened was I got $1,600, and I'm like, yes, I can't believe it, my first profit I've ever made. I was ready to go buy frozen yogurt. I was ready to celebrate. I was like super excited. And then my mom and dad sat me down, and yeah, and
here we go. That never goes well when someone says their mom and dad sat them down. Something's coming.
Yeah. we counted the money, and of course it was $1,600. And then I held it in my hands, and they just took half of it. And I'm like, wait, where's that one going? And they're like, well, let us tell you some things. We have bought in all the fabric and everything, and now that you actually have profit, we need that money to go buy the fabric and pay salaries. That's when I was starting to find out what salary was. I just thought that my mom and dad would go up to the dudes and pay them $100,000 a week. I'm just like, yeah, this is going good. This is fine. I'm fine with this. I'm like, no. Now I understand like pricing and everything, because that one day when I found out that $600 turned into like $100 for me and the rest went to go to my company, I'm like, no, where's the money going?
Such a good lesson there. Now, just for the listeners of the show, the 100,000 Hanalei is referring to paying the dudes or the staff that are in this company is Balinese. It's what is it? It's Indonesian rupiah. Is that the one? I think it is. It's Bali dollars is what we're referring to here. It's not US dollars. She's not paying $100,000 US to the dudes. I'm sure they would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had this experience. We've had this time where we've learned this very, very valuable lesson that when we make a sale, it's not all profit. We have to pay for things. We have to pay our dudes. We have to pay for our material and all the rest. So we learned a very, very valuable lesson. What did you learn from this? Like, what was your big takeaway?
My big takeaway was actually like from learning from my mistakes. Like I've learned like more about how I cost effective, like how I can like kind of weigh out reduce my cost. My mom is whispering all the things right now.
Thanks, Mel. That is a good answer, though. We'll go with that one. That is a fantastic lesson to learn from that one there.
Yeah.
And what a special thing to learn at this age. As I said, I wouldn't have even known what costs were at this point, or I had a real concept of money. And I think there's a huge thing that's being developed there, and so special. So what are your goals for HS Styles, or what are you working towards for HS Styles at the moment?
Well, I have quite big goals right now. One of the biggest is going to New York Fashion Week. I want to be able to share my collection in there, and I want to be one of the youngest designers in Fashion Week. And so that's one of my biggest goals that I've been working for so long. And some of my other goals are getting my own shop, my Hanalei Swan shop.
Fantastic.
Styles. Yeah, and soon one of my goals are complete. We're going to be launching the website very soon, and so that's very excited.
That's some huge, fantastic targets there. So number one, getting into New York Fashion Week. Now, I'm not in fashion, so you'll have to forgive me, but I understand that is a big deal in fashion. If you go to Fashion Week, that is a huge achievement and accomplishment. So great goal there. The second part of that is having your own store, which is a workplace and place like a shop, a proper shop, bricks and mortar shop. And then the third part there is launching the online website to take your styles to the world, the HS Styles to the world. So huge ambitions there, which is fantastic.
The website is already complete, and we're going to be launching it very soon. So one of my goals is almost complete.
That's awesome. So almost got one ticked off there as well. So we've only got 2 to go. And do you know what? I'm pretty confident you'll get the other 2 done from what I know about you, Hanalei.
Yeah.
Now, I want to shift the topics up now because there's something else you're involved in which I think deserves some time on this show, which is the Unstoppable Kids program. Now, for those, which I think is going to be most people in this case, probably haven't heard about the Unstoppable Kids. So would you be able to enlighten us on what the Unstoppable Kids program is?
Yeah, so the Unstoppable Kids is a kid movement on basically inspiring kids to live their passions at such a young age. If you look at me, I'm 10 years old, and I have my own socially conscious fashion brand already. And so the Unstoppable Kids is basically a movement like that enlightens kids and like shares like about how do I put this? Like that they can basically live their passion at such a young age, and they don't have to be asked at such a young age, what do you want to be when you grow up? One of the things that we ask is, what do you want to be now?
Oh, I love that quote. I was doing my research on you today. I was like, oh, I've got to be all prepared. And I was reading through, and this was quoted by you. So this is something you've said. Most kids are asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was asked, what do you want to be now? And I think that is hugely powerful for a lot of kids that could be having a lot of fun and doing some very cool things that you get to do as well.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I was very, very impressed with when I came to Bali, is I actually got to see this Unstoppable Kids program in running up at an event I was, and there was a group of amazing children that had come together and got to have their own little mini mastermind type day and collaborate. And I was just very, very impressed with what you guys were putting together. And my hope is that this becomes the standard for kids. I would love it if all kids got the opportunity to participate in things like that and be exposed to entrepreneurial worlds. Do you think we're a chance in making that happen?
Yes, I believe in that so well. And one of the Unstoppable Kids goals is to be able to have all kids around the world have that opportunity to actually feel like they can be a part of something bigger, and that they can share their message with the world because their voice matters.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping in that sharing this podcast, we will be able to bring this to the attention of many, many parents and help that make very true for you. Now, I don't know if you know this, but one of the things I'm most looking forward to in life is having my own children. So I can't wait to be a dad. I'm not currently, coming soon. Everyone relax. It's none of the way. But one of the things I hope is that the Unstoppable Kids program is around for my own children to go to, because I think it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
So what would you say to anyone that was about your age, that was having these dreams and ambitions and ideas? What advice would you give them for this point of their life?
Go and do what you love, and work hard and try to accomplish it as much as they can, because they can. It's all in the mindset. You gotta think, I can do this. I can do this. Yes, this is my goal. This is my dream. I want to do this. And one day they'll be able to do that.
One of the things I have to remember is that you're 10. I often forget that. It's quite interesting. And I even had this same experience when I was with you in Bali, is that some of the things you say are just so mature. And like I would hear from someone my own age. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see in this light coming through. And I hope, and actually I know, I don't hope, I've got a funny feeling you're going to have a great effect on a lot of other children that feel the same way and be able to bring this type of passion to their life. So it's so very cool. Now, I've got to take this over to the other side because we've got some more important things to get through from here. I'd love to know, because I actually know some secrets here and I'm kind of leading into them, but I think the world needs to know them. But what do you have coming up over the next few months or the rest of this year? I know you've got some pretty big things in store. So why don't you share with the guys what's coming up for Hanalei Swan?
So this is very big news. That's I'm actually going to be going to Orlando in 2 weeks or less, right? And we are going to be having this private event in this big mansion in Orlando. And I think Funnel Hacker is there. Hopefully we're going to be going to Funnel Hacker. We are going to be going to Funnel Hacker. Just got that in from my mom.
Breaking news. For those of you who don't know, Funnel Hacker is Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, event, a very big name in the internet marketing space. So very, very impressive that Hanalei Swan is going to be going there and attending, possibly participating in this event by the sound of things.
Yeah.
Anything?
And I am going... what?
Sorry for that. I think we had a bit of an overlap. We'll do that one again and keep the story going, though. What else is coming up, Hanalei?
I am also continuing on from Orlando. I am going to bring some of my collection to the USA, and I'm going to be having a new line of robes, and we're going to be bringing the old smokers jackets back. And we're going to be having this dress in navy blue almost for women and children.
Fantastic.
And, yeah.
Now, for the people that are on the
And-
video, you'll get to see what Hanalei's wearing at the moment, and you'll be able to see that she's wearing a very, very, I'm going to go with snazzy get-up is my fashion lingo here. I'm probably way out of tune from what it's called. But for those of you on audio, I'd really encourage you to make sure you check out some of the amazing designs that Hanalei and HS Designs are putting together from there. So is there anything else coming up for you this year?
I am also going to be going to Australia for Calvin Kyle's event, and I'm going to the Happiness Co. Event. So it's very exciting.
Sounds like you've got a huge idea. Oh, there's more. Keep going. Lay it down.
And I am designing for the kids collection in Happiness Co. So
that is amazing.
Big.
Big shout out to Happiness Co. and Julie, an amazing company, and same with Kelvin. Big fan of what those guys do. Sounds like you've got a monstrous, huge year ahead, which is, again, just so awesome. And thoroughly, I feel so lucky just to know you from there. Now, for the people that don't know you as well, where can they go to find out and see more about what you do? I know you've got some great things online.
Well, if they want to go to my website, it's hanaleiswan.com, and they can follow me on Instagram and Facebook.
Now, we'll make sure to have links below this podcast so you can just click along and go and have a look at the website and the social media channels. Hanalei does put some great stuff up on social, and I would really encourage you guys to please make sure you check out some of this fashion stuff because it is beyond impressive in general. And then when you realize it's been done by a 10-year-old, your mind is blown, which makes it even more amazing from there. So I want to say a massive thank you for being my guest on the podcast today. Is there any final thoughts you would like to leave the listeners with?
I don't think so. Just be unstoppable.
I was going to say, we've got to do the trademark, right? We'll do it on 3. We'll go be unstoppable on 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Be unstoppable. Oh, we didn't get it right, but it was close. You still did it heaps better than I would. Guys, be unstoppable. Today, a massive thank you to Hanalei Swan for being a guest on the show. Such an amazing little human. I can't emphasize enough how important or how impressive this person is to follow. So that's it for Confessions of a Business Owner. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the end of our special guest episode.